Stay on and talk about a little while. See if anybody come through. Things are going like kind of expected. All this talking about the Clippers choking, which I said. I didn't really watch the game. I just caught a little bit of the low lights, but I already knew how it pretty much ended. It was pretty much um, to be expected. When you don't know how to finish up as a team, you're not a championship team. Granted, I know Paul George was there, but James Harden, and he fell right into Skip Bayless's doghouse. I already know. I already know. They got to have a ball handler there. That's one of the things they got to do. That's where they're going to miss someone who can handle the rock, handle the pressure. But let's be realistic. Brian ain't gonna stick no 4 and 5 threes like that. He ain't gonna hit no. He not gonna have them kind of nights that often. But you gotta be prepared for it. But anyway, wasn't surprised or at all about that outcome. So but it doesn't really put no weight on me. I mean, I still look at those teams as what they are. So whatever. So uh, just one of those games. You know, I like how Rachel Nichols was on Skip Bayless today because she was talking and she said, "I don't see them as a title team. So they might get the West Conference. I don't see them. That's the reality. They're not. What's up? What's up? I'll be on for about half hour. So let's chop it up. I just got on, so talk to about a half hour. I was on earlier. I don't think the memo went out, but I'll chop it up for like a half for sure. Maybe longer. It depends on how the conversation go. See what we talking about. But yeah, I saw Rachel Nichols. She was talking about you know, she gave LeBron his due and all that, and Anthony Davis. But she said, look, like I know, to be ninth seed, if you ain't at least fifth with that, you're not doing anything. So the West is better. And I know they gotta play Denver this weekend. I don't know how that could go. But they're not beating them in no 7 game series. The Clippers need a point guard, and that was pretty much evident, you know. Just didn't finish up, you know. But hey, those teams be like that though. So, you know, it's just kinda like one of them things. Put a lot of stock into it. But Golden State is right on them heels too. So somehow you get the feeling they want them two teams to play for the play-in tournament. Some craziness. It's gonna come down to them two teams. It's been that way the last few years if you think about it. That's crazy. But that's how far they done fell off. You want to keep going on about, you know, it's just not that. Oh yeah, I did peep out that Kwame Brown. Uh, he talked about with Kevin Garnett. I did my own video about it too. I do believe there's steroids involved. I definitely believe there's something with LeBron on the juice. I do. He ain't gonna dispute it. And you supposedly all hurt and can't move, but you can move. Yeah, okay. We know what's up. They just covering you. I'm not saying you can't have moments because he does have some moments, but then he's just not. There's a lot more going on with it. So, you know, Adam Silver and them, they got an agenda. Yeah, I did the video where I did that too. And I said Derrick Rose was the Conseco because he whistle blew. Um, you know, it's inevitable. You know, but he's bought and paid for by the league, and they're gonna want him to. That's why he got to do what he got to do. He's not the Jose Canseco of the NBA though. LeBron James is the P Diddy. Not saying the Fleece Johnson thing, but I'm talking about where there's a machine behind him that he can't stop, won't stop. That's what I meant. Let me clarify that. I'm not saying anything about LeBron, anything, but just like how Puffy's ran by the machine or Jay Z, or I can say Jay Z because they best friends. They all tight. There you go. You know how that run. They own you one way or another. You know. See, because if LeBron ever acts up or doesn't do what they want, he won't get any more calls, and then they will start to. You know what they doing? When they're done with you, they start to drop. Your closet door starts to open up. Then all the tools start to come out one by one. Pictures, hammers, magazines, videos, all that. So, you know. But Derrick Rose knows. Mm-hmm. Now, before you ask me, Yeah, Steph Curry can make it because he's a shooter and he's bulked up a bit, but he's still, he gonna give you some moments, but it takes a team effort. But you know, because he's a shooter, he's got a little bit longer life. You can't carry the kind of weight that Braun carries and not have wear and tear on you. So, just saying, very suspect. Yeah, he got a chance. He's long and lean, but the problem with him is he's injury prone. That's the problem with him. He, his body didn't gave out in some ways. Because let's be real, if he had been healthy, the last 2 or 3 years, he probably is right where past Jordan right now as far as all-time scorer. People thought he was going to break the record if he healthy, because he's definitely going to pass Shaq up soon and 30 plus thousand. He'll move up. He'll move up. But he lost a couple years. Imagine if he has at least a year of that and he's healthy. This guy would be top 2 or 3 easily, scoring wise. Well, yeah, but he's hitting for most of his career because he 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 really took some bad hits with his legs. Remember he had a couple cases of COVID too, so don't know how his immune system. There's a lot of things that go on, where he's concerned. You know, it's just a shame because that guy probably realistically was the one that probably, not saying he would have done it, but he had a shot to move way up, way up. So we'll never know. We didn't get him untouched. But that's not to say that, hey, after this year, he goes, say he gets 2 or 3 years and he has like a couple really tight years. There's no telling where he'll be up on the scoring list. I think at this stage, he has to pretty much score probably definitely past Dirk, past Kobe, and win another ring, and then he'll move in that hierarchical discussion. I think he needs something like that for quite a few people. He's a real. His career is a real polarizing thing for a lot of people. But I think Durant, you can make the cases anywhere between 12 to 20. I saw that, and they're not talking about it. I did a video about it. They're not talking about it. They are not talking about the best player, best team in the league. Because he don't sell tickets. He's not interesting because he just does his job. He's just a lunch pail guy who just does his work. That's all. It's not sexy. It's not romantic. It's not, oh. And you pay a price. You see, yeah, he do. And he makes his team play that way. And what's quiet is no one's talking about Jamal Murray. Jamal been balling. Jamal gets no love. But I told you, as important as Aaron Gordon is, it's Michael Porter Jr. That's the Klay Thompson effect. He is the one. He's the one. If Michael Porter Jr. gets rolling, you're not beating Denver. And see, I watched them. Now, Aaron Gordon hosts his own. Murray does his thing. And Jokic's going to bring his thing. But if Porter gets going, you're not beating him. They're a very fundamental team. They play at a high IQ level. And they're not going to be easy to beat. You might get them in the regular season or something, but you ain't going to want to play them 4 times. You're not going to want to play them 4 times. Mm-hmm. Yo, what's up? How you doing? How you doing? Where you from, Nancy? How you doing? Glad you could come through tonight. Appreciate you. We just talking. We talking about whatever you want to talk about. I was talking some basketball. Whatever you want to talk about. It don't make no difference. Still tripping on. Well, I always talk about what they're looking for. I mean, basically, sometimes they really don't have a type. They just looking to replace somebody. They're like, okay, what we going to get? So, I mean, it depends on the team. It depends on, again, player system. What do you really look for? You know. So I wish they would just tell the truth that, hey, we're looking for someone that can give us good PR. Because sometimes a team has bad energy. So you're just looking for somebody that can come in and smooth things out. Sometimes you have some bad situations, smooth it out. Depends on how you finish. You don't come back the next year fired up and mad. Depends on how you finish. You saw Cincinnati go lose to Kansas City next year, but they had some energy. But that's a thing. Philadelphia is a good example. Flat this year. So I'd like to see you. You can laugh if you want about the Buffalo Bills, but they were mad enough to keep coming back. I want to see a team with that fighting drive, not where you fall off the map, unless of course your coach is Jeff Fisher, and then you never come back again. Mm-hmm. But you know, uh, I just think that you be because I know in the NBA they used to do it all the time. Team lose, they come back the next summer they mad. You remember when Tim Duncan when the Spurs lost to Miami in 2013? He said, I will win that title next year. That's what I want to hear. And so football's different because you're not promised. Look at Dan Marino, Miami, never came back. So, but it's how you prepare yourself psychologically. So that's the best thing I can give you on that one. The best one. And with Nancy, you still out there? If you got any questions, feel free to ask. I will gladly answer. Like I said before, we cover a wide range. We talking football, basketball, sports, politics, Puffy. Got a lot of stuff to cover. Mm-hmm. No limits on the topic matter. Because it's all kind of connected. I mean, I just got through talking about LeBron and Jay-Z, so stuff's all kind of intertwined. So if you feel like you want to touch on that, it don't make no difference. He been that way. But I don't know if you ever saw the Big Papa video, but Busta Rhymes is in the video, and that's supposed to be a woman that is with Busta, but that's really a dude. That's a trip. Puffy always was like that though. Puffy, that's how he got hooked up. Clive Davis. Yeah, to my go get my cheesecake. Me and my boy hollered about that. We talked about that mess. Oh, we cracked up. Go get me some cheesecake. I remember, as a matter of fact, it was funny because I remember when I used to eat that stuff. And I remember I was like, I'm going to get some cheesecake. And I was thinking about him. I was like, wait a minute. I remember that line. Yeah, he was. He was. He got away with a lot of stuff. I mean, a lot. A lot. And between Usher and Jennifer Lopez, they know. Yeah, well, it was true. It was true. That cheesecake thing cracked us up. We was talking about that mess. Like, how you and I talking about sport. We were talking about basketball. I said, go get some cheesecake. I was cracking up. I was like, no way he did that. Remember the cat was Chopper. Chopper was cool. I was cracking up. I said, this dude. But yeah, I think there's a lot more going on. I think that with Biggie, Tupac, it's a lot of stuff going on, and we ain't gonna never get to the bottom of it. So, but yeah, he was, And the thing about it is like I remember everything about him just like yesterday. Cause see, Stacey Lattisaw, Neither to the Wall video, he was a dance extra in her video. Remember that? Back in '89, he was a fresh-faced kid who was in the mailroom on Uptown Records with Andre Harrell. And then the whole thing in 91 in DC with the stomping out with Heavy D and all that, that mess was bad. It's a lot of stuff that went on. You know, this industry's all connected. All connected. And it's like you really don't know, or they do know, but they don't talk about it until something go wrong. So who you telling? But you know what? They won't. They won't. Because Kat's still trying to see her from behind, from the back, only talent she ever had. Yeah, she's a cultural vulture. And she hasn't mattered. She ain't mattered since MySpace was out. You know. If she ran the Irv Gotti and worked with Ja Rule and did Unreal, that's the last time people in the streets was feeling her like that. Then she did a more hokey Hallmark movies, you know. She's not old. She's young in age. She's old in terms of trying to portray this game she's trying to portray. She's old enough not to know that she ain't got no more talent. She came out with some more whack album just now. You know, but she's still still a nice looking woman, but it's just that she never had no talent. I'll tell you like this. Her best talent's always behind her. Okay, that's just a fact. When I think about her, I say, you know what? Your best is always behind you. We don't even have to get into no long discussion. We love you from behind. We love everything about you from behind you. That's it. Yeah, but that's not an old age, because I'm going to tell you why. It's middle. If you take care of yourself, if you are talented and you do what you're supposed to do, you can make that look good for you. But she's not like Mariah in terms of vocal talent. Mariah is a better singer, but Mariah, I don't think never grew up at that Arrested Development. Should be a crooner, should be a stylist. Jennifer Lopez still trying to learn how to sing, trying to find the key. If you haven't looked up that, there's a video on YouTube where she's trying to sing about Barbra Streisand. So that was hilarious. She's not old. Take care of herself. She's not old. Not at all. I don't know if you get out and check out this nice little woman, take care of themselves, 50s, 60s, 70s. It's not 40s, you take care of yourself. Because there's some that are half that age that ran through, drove through, banged up, toe up. So So but you take care of yourself, you're gonna be all right. All depends on what you do. Yeah, I know Mariah still carries some love out here because Nick Cannon's still trying to holler her back. That's the last thing I heard. Nick out here still screaming for it, but I know she ain't gonna do that no more. But yeah. But yeah, if you take care of yourself and you're blessed, you can make it happen. Yeah. And I love that part of the Super Bowl. I loved it. I thought that was great. I just thought he needed to have like a song like Sheik's "La Freak" or let's see what else. Good Times. If he'd have done Good Times and then went into Yeah, so like if he could have brought Nile Rodgers out and they did Good Times, boom, boom, and then Roller Skate and then go into Yeah, that would have been cold. But yeah. He, like I said before, he's a really good artist, charismatic, but he just missing that thing, which, he had that thing. I'd say, okay. I like, because he cool, but musically, I just kind of like, you know, this just all. Because, like, he had the idea for the performance. I mean, he was live and he was doing his thing, but it was just missing that knockout. And when I look at him, it's like it's like if it's a 12-round fight, you get 10 of them rounds right, but you just you can't bring it home. That's the only thing I got against him. But I give him his credit for long term. Yeah, I heard about that. Well, she's with the crew, so whatever. Now, if you're a conspiracy theorist, you're gonna think that Roger Goodell and all that tie in. But she's with the crew. I mean, Gisele Bundchen probably got one too, but we don't talk about Gisele, no, do we? Gotta ask Tom Brady that. Doesn't matter. You ask me who had a better career, I'm taking Dan Marino. I'm taking Dan Marino because this is one thing for people who don't watch this live. We go there. Oh yeah, I can go cross careers. So let me do. You want to do cross careers? He left a more lasting impact with his cadence of his arm strength than she has with her music. I still got people talking about Dan Marino 40 years ago. I know some people right now that would put him in a top 10, 5 or 6 greatest quarterbacks ever. Montana gave him love. I ain't never heard cross careers. I ain't never heard nobody ever say, "Oh, Taylor Swift is not across white girls, which is predominantly her base." And I'm just gonna keep it 100. If I have white people watching, if you're offended, oh well. But she don't have no black fans like that. Let's keep it real. She's got some fans, but it's more white. Let's be real. Just doesn't have that across appeal. So, yeah, Marino got her beat. It just was that he was old, and his body wasn't the same. He'd have some moments, but he looked his age. He had some moments where he could play, and he gave you, I know much respect to Brother Two Raw and them and others, Jordan fans, all that. He had some moments. He had that 50-point game. He had mercy when he blocked that shot. He had some moments, but he wasn't the same dude. That uniform didn't look right on him. And he looked older and he looked like, he was going through them. He had some moments. But you see, moments are like if you get to the playoffs. That's moments. When you left the way he did with one of the most iconic shots ever against Byron Russell in Utah, and you can say he pushed out how you want to, that shit. And it's cool. You don't come back to that. That's like being in how do I say it? That's like you go from a penthouse to a big Airbnb. There's no wrong with Airbnb because a place is a place, but you were in a penthouse. You was top floor. Now you're to Airbnb. That's what it was like with him with the Wizards. No, he didn't have bum moments. I disagree. He was old. See, bum moments is like if a guy who showed you promise and greatness and all things were being fair. His body was giving out on him, and that team wasn't that good, and they were kids. So I can't hold that against him. Can't. Won't. He just looked ordinary. Let me put it like that. He looked ordinary. And when you have a guy of his caliber, you don't accept ordinary. But he wasn't bum. It just was some ego, and I can do this. But he just looked ordinary. Was the reality. That's all. Doug Collins and him and this whole North Carolina Kumbaya and all that was not going to fly. And they weren't a particularly good team. Maybe if he's healthy, 6, 7 seed, but they weren't better than Philly at the time. They weren't better than New Jersey at the time. They weren't better than Boston at the time. So you never want to see a guy on that level and caliber to be just going through the motions. But he wasn't. He was ordinary, and that's what made it tough. So, and believe me, I'm not giving him no pass because I don't think he should have came back. I think that it was a shame that the Bulls didn't have him as an owner. I've said that. He went out the best way you could ever go out, hitting that shot against Utah. That was like out of a movie. That was a Hollywood ending right there. And that is how you want to remember it. Not where he's hobbling and got to ride an exercise bike just to score a couple points. You know. So you know what they are. You ain't even got to ask me. You already know. They can't do what I did. If I played, I'd be. That's the first thing. Armchair quarterback, armchair. Or if in my day, if I would do, that's the first thing they do. Because even though I do agree Allen Iverson would have scored a lot, and I not gonna say because of his styling, he did. He sounded just like that dude. Talking about 43. I like it when guys don't say nothing. We do the talking for him. You asked me about Larry Bird. I said he tear the league up. Michael Jordan would, but he ain't got to say it. Dr. J, see, when you know what you could do, you see what they're doing. But then that's why they don't talk much because they really don't be feeling this janky league. That's why. But if they want to keep a job or staying good with the powers that be, they got to lie like Reggie Miller does. Like, Shaq and Charles and them beat around the bush. But they know. They know. Even the guys who are sports writers, Broussard and Parker, they know. They know. They know. So that's my big thing with them. Miami's my team. What about them? Because I didn't understand. Do you have a question about the Heat? Or you're just saying that's my favorite team? Um, Dirk, he probably played too long. But, I mean, and listen, I won't have anything bad to say about Dirk because Dirk was disrespected, um, especially in that finals against Miami. And they made fun of him and everything. And he was made fun of most of his career. I told you the tractor trailer story. When people thought Dallas was insane to get him. Don Nelson did get that right. How you doing? How you doing? What's happening with you? Feel free to ask any questions. Good to have you. So I'm gonna get back to Dirk. Top 5 starting lineup for any Heat players. Shaq. I'd have Alonzo as my 4. D Wade, of course, is the 2. LeBron is the 3. No, I want Chris Bosh on that. It'd be my starting 5 right there. I would, because Bosh was versatile. So give me them starting 5. Shaq, Zoe, Bosh, D Wade, LeBron. That'd be my starting 5. Give me Ray Allen off the bench. Yeah. Tim Hardaway off the bench. Mike Miller off the bench too. As a coach or as a player in general, because I don't, that's kind of loaded with him. As a player, he's shimming, he was entertaining. He wasn't that fast, but he did enough to keep himself up. Yeah, that's probably about it. I mean, he wasn't the fastest cat. He was kind of showy, but I mean, he fit in good with Indiana. He didn't quite with the Knicks like he did with the Pacers, but he was a good fit with the Pacers. I will tell you like this in hindsight, he's the kind of guard that a lot of teams, he'd be like the slow-mo Jason Kidd, slow-mo, but he handles, give you assists, he definitely give you dimes, and he scored a little bit, so, he'd be appreciated more today, I think. I think he would. He just got to win, and any more time you're going to keep getting with great players because you had Giannis, and now you got Luka. And then you had your gig with the Brooklyn Nets. So now you got to win. You had KG, Pierce, and all them come over to Brooklyn. That didn't work. When Milwaukee with Giannis, it didn't work. Now you got Luka. So you ain't going to get too many more chances with either great players or up-and-coming greats. Or you got to win. That's my pet peeve because I want to see him win. So he got to figure it out. And he ain't going to have many more chances. That's it. They don't know nothing what's about it because now he's with his third different team, and 2 of them then had future great players, and he coached a team that had great players that were past the prime. I might give him a pass with Brooklyn, but even though he did do some janky stuff, I still remember that game against the Lakers with spilling the drink on the court, which was tacky. But he's got chances now to redeem himself twice, so we're going to see. We're going to see. Especially when he's up there talking about Luka being greater than this player or that player. Okay, Jason Kidd, you on. We're going to see what you talking about. Put your money where your mouth is. So, let's see how you rolling. So, he can be a bit much. I remember he was riding Rondo quite a bit in Dallas. I think he kind of wore his welcome with Luka. His style can be a bit abrasive, but he did good with the Pacers the first time. They just couldn't get over the hump. That's all. Against Detroit and all that. I mean, he kept his teams. Yeah, that's what I said. He can be abrasive and it can be a bit. I know he played with Larry Bird and Casey Jones was coach, and I understand it, but if he's smart with Tyler Hillsburton, might have something special there. He got him a ring with Dallas, and it did work. So, he could get deja vu. People that the Pacers can step it up, especially with PJ. They keep sucking their lineup. They got a chance to be a little bit all right, but I don't know. But I do like Halliburton, though. He's nice. And I think they got some offense, but I think they just, They got to make some inroads. They got to shake. They got to shake things up and shock people. So we'll see. We'll see. But he is a very good coach, though. I mean, yeah, he can be a bit heavy, but he's a very good coach. He got him a ring, and he's a championship quality coach. He will definitely get you there. Now the question is, can he be cool enough? Because in his defense, he's a bit smarter than Frank Vogel is to a certain extent. Kind of cut from the same cloth, but Carlisle, I think, can get a little bit more. Oh, we done this one before. You know, I already told you. Let's start with the Pistons and the Bulls. Pretty much all the teams that won. I mean, if you want to throw I know you're going to throw the Knicks in there, and the Sonics had a good defense in there. And you are talking basketball, you're talking football, just so because you always ask me about the basketball in the 90s. Depends on what sport you're talking about. But yeah, it's the usuals. If you're talking yeah, they were. They had a pretty good, yeah, Dikembe was there, remember? Mm-hmm. Now, if you're talking football, those Cowboys were good. 49ers, Steelers. Bills were pretty good at the early part of the 90s. Denver had a pretty good defense, too. Yeah. So it all depends on what sport we're talking about. But just gotta let me know. But yeah, it's pretty much the usual. I think you love that era because that's when you came around this earth. And I'll tell you something. Well, Joe Montana, that was one of the greatest performances. Steve Young had an incredible performance, I know. And that's the only thing that he really got a claim to, where people still be like overhyping it. But I'd say I give Mahomes one of them rings I was impressed with, probably last year. But this one had more of a better storybook ending. Brady in Tampa Bay was a great performance. Probably better than most, except for the one he lost against Philly. But Nick Foles, you got to love that one. That was incredible. Even though I ain't a big fan of Eli Manning, especially when the David Tyreek hit all them big passes and stuff, that was huge. Steelers, when they beat the Cardinals, I think Roethlisberger, that was... None. Why would I be? I mean, I don't take other teams losing Super Bowls the same as I take my team, just so you know, because it don't really... I will share this with you. I used to be great with making Super Bowl predictions in the 80s. The Bills made me lose a lot. None. Because I couldn't root for no other team like I do my team. That's just a fact. The only thing I'd be upset is if the game was horrible or something stupid. That's all. Now, I've seen games where I thought a team probably was going to win. I thought Frisco probably would have won this one. Would have won 2 years ago, 3 years ago for them. So, but I'm not upset at all. I don't have a, when I root for my team, I root for my team. I don't have no, that team. I don't. I just hope the game is good. That's all. There's teams I like to see win that I would root for, but I don't have no. When the Patriots lost to the Giants both times, I was like, really? But it didn't hit me like the Bills. Nothing hits me like my team. Nothing. So now maybe you got a different answer, but I don't get caught up on other teams. If my team loses, that's my season. Um, Sometimes I think making changes and choices. I think one of the things he's gonna learn with the Clippers is that James Harden last night. I mean, you got too much of the same. So sometimes you got these guys who are guards, and he tends to get into this lull. But um, you know, we're gonna find out postseason with the Clippers. That's all I'm gonna say. They've done quite well considering they just put the team together, got it together. I'm gonna hold off. He is a very good coach. Make no mistake about it. Because ego have been checked. I haven't heard nothing crazy about Russell Westbrook is building homes back in LA, so give him prop for a low incoming. Harden's been on his best behavior. Kawhi's been playing. So we'll save it for the postseason. And you can ask me then. Because if he makes that work, well, they get at least 3 rounds deep. And he's a very good coach. I do believe in him. Um, some people who are old school call it softball. They don't think there should be 10 batters. And, that was one of the pet peeves with the American League, the National League not doing it. So some people got offended by it. If a guy's like got a beer can, like a beer drinking belly, and he's up there just batting and he ain't fielding, you won't talk about that. Would be considered cherry picking in baseball. So think about it. He was a great manager. I didn't like him personally. I thought he was low key bigot, but I can't argue about his success. I mean, he did more than make up for it with St. Louis. He left a lot on the table with Oakland, and of course, he wasn't that memorable with the White Sox, but he did. He won a lot of rings, and I've got nothing to say against him in terms of his success. As a manager, he's a made man. He won the National League and the American League. I know he knows more things than he would tell, though, about McGuire, Canseco, and others. I know that. And he strikes me kind of hot-headed and gets quick-tempered, and I didn't like how he did Ozzie Smith in St. Louis. You know. So we're just talking pure right-handed hitters, not switch hitters, not like Mickey Mantle, not like Eddie Murray, but just pure right-handed hitters. Well, Frank Thomas is going to be in that argument. Mike Schmidt's one of my all-time favorites. He'd be in that argument. McGuire would be in there. Harmon Killebrew. I say Derek Jeter. Yeah. hmm That's a good question. That's a good, because you can make an argument for Miguel Cabrera too. Albert Pujols, I forgot about Albert. Albert, yeah. Let me take that back. Albert Jeter, Frank Thomas. uh, McGuire, Killer. I can't put Manny in there. Not top 5 ever. He ain't better than them guys. But Albert's in there. Manny would probably be in the. Oh, no, I forgot. I put Alex Rodriguez too. So A-Rod would be there. A-Rod. Let me forget what I'm talking about. See, I had to think about it. I had to think for a moment. Manny ain't in that conversation. Not with them guys. I like Manny a lot, but he ain't better than A-Rod. He wasn't a better hitter. Molitor underrated because of being in Milwaukee. Played anywhere else, and that's not his fault, but that's the politics. Yeah, I can make a case for Molitor in the top 10. Make a case. Johnny Bench, too. I got to subtly think his names come back to my mind. Ricky Henderson. See, there you go. Ricky's in there. See, so Ricky Jeter, Pujols, Alex Rodriguez. McGuire, Killebrew. So I got about, Well, he was a switch hitter. If I'm gonna include switch hitters, then I'm gonna talk about Mickey Mantle and Eddie Murray. Manny ain't seeing them either. So if we including the switch hitters, they got him beat. They got him beat. See, if I can include switch hitters, Eddie Murray and Mickey Mantle got him beat. Pete Rose got him beat too. If I'm going to include switch hitters, Pete Rose too. There you go. That changes the whole dynamic. That changed the whole dynamic right there. So, and another right-handed hitter who doesn't get his love would be Andre Dawson. Andre Dawson, the Hawk, league MVP. I got him over Manny. So if I sit there and I really do this, now I guess the big question is this: who would you take, Manny Ramirez or Jose Canseco? All things being equal, but they both got busted on some stuff. But all things being equal, who you got? And if you ask me, I'm taking Canseco. Because that dude was the first 40-40. He was a bad dude. Bad dude. See? Okay. I like Manny. Listen, don't get it twisted. It's just that I think about guys who really changed game. The cats I mentioned changed the game. Canseco, for his moment, was a bad dude. The Bash Brothers was legit. Manny with Albert was nice. Boston with Big Papi, he was a beast. But Canseco was another level. I'm just saying. Before the gimmicks and everything. Canseco was too. Remember, you forget they won a ring. He won a ring and he was hitting them home runs 40-40 club before Manny was on the map. Just saying. Go back to 89. Go back to 89. Because Canseco was a bad boy. And he had McGuire. It's a bad boy. You asked me who's the smartest right-handed hitter I ever saw? Probably was Ricky Henderson. Ricky was on his own plane, hit for power, hit for speed, stole bases. Ricky was something else. He was one of my favorites. Probably before Bonds blew up for me. It was about Ricky. But Manny's in my 11 to 20. Barry Bonds, come on now. That's a no-brainer. Duh. Barry, Tony Gwynn, Ted Williams, George Brett, Pete Rose, if we're going to go with the switch hitter. Yep. Because he did more damage as a left-hand hitter for me. He hit some big hits as a left-handed lefty. Wade Boggs. Willie Stargell. Oh, yeah, and if I was going back to right-handers, I forget all about seeing Willie Mays, Hank Aaron, Roberto Clemente. They got Manny beat too. So if I do that, there you go. So go back to lefties now. Who else did I like? I liked, let's see. I liked, let me think, who could I pick on that I liked? That was a left-handed hitter. Let's see. Favorite power hitting first baseman all time? Oh, yeah. Could make a case for Fred McGriff, Chris Chambers, Cecil Fielder, yeah, I can make a case for him. I can make a case for him. He was good. Who else could I pick on? Let's see. Albert was a first baseman. Um, Trying to think. Who else comes to mind? Trying to think. Who else would I pick on? First base. God. Well, my brain seems stumped. They come to mind right now. It'll come back to me. See, I just kind of working myself where I get these guys back. But but those are the guys that come to mind. There's a lot of them like that. When I mentioned Chris Chambliss, I remembered him though. Okay. Roger Clemens, Steve Carlton, Tom Glavine, Greg Maddux, Dwight Gooden, Bob Gibson, Satchel Paige, Dave Stewart, Fernando Valenzuela, because I really dug those guys. Ron Guidry, Randy Johnson. Yeah, I mentioned. Well, I did. He was a clutch pitcher for Oakland and LA. He knew his stuff. Um, Oral Hershiser. Oral was a bad dude. I did like Stu. Stu won a Cy Young, but Stu was bad. Stu was bad. Vita Blue too. And who else is like personal favorites is like Andy Pettit. Love Pettit. Gotta give it to Phil Negro. That knuckleball, because him and Gaylord Perry, that was hilarious. Yeah. I respect Sandy Koufax, Don Drysdale, Juan Marshall, because I got to go back in time too, because my thing goes all over too. So I got to give it to Tom Seaver. Can't forget about Tom Seaver. He was a bad dude. You know. So those guys come to mind. There's a lot of them though. So I know I'm not thinking offhand because that's a lot to mention. Plus, you got to remember something. I'm thinking about guys who had won in eras where you had to pitch 9 innings. There was no analytics. Different era, different time. So my ears and stuff were a little bit different. So yeah. So please don't bring that kind of stuff on this site because I don't respond to that. So I don't address that. Anyway, Mike Schmidt. Love Mike Schmidt for my era. Brooks Robinson. Greg Nettles, Chipper Jones. Hmm. Um, you know you want to say Alex Rodriguez. uh, I used to love the hot corner. I used to love the hot corner. All the cats that played third base really had to bring it. No, this ain't the way to bring that. I do not respond to anything like that. If you notice the form and the way I talk, I don't use that kind of stuff. So thanks, but no thanks. Uh, Will Smith. Well, he played Hollywood. You know, he was a Hollywood Negro. You know, I mean, he was accessible. You might look at the Fresh Prince of Bel Air and might, you know, if you think about that from the imagery, smart aleck role, which wasn't that far off from JJ from Dynamite Kid Dynamite Good Times, if you think about it in some form of capacity, even though this was more upscale, but it was kind of like the same kind of dancing, shuffling, but he was accessible. See, the thing about it is this, uh, you know, you know, Will was always accessible, and you know, so when I think about Will, I mean, you know, you can't really say that because he was always commercialized. He's almost like a person that he almost got a pass because he was crossed over. So, you know, that's kind of how I look at Will. So it's how you look at him. It's kind of how you feel about him. I didn't never have any uppity family members at no cookouts. Never, never. Well, he's crossed over too. He got picked. You know, first black dude from wrestling. You know, that crossed over on that level. So, you know, and you know, it's one of those kind of people that can't really say he's bucking because he they put money on him. You know, when you gotta remember too, he's the he you gotta understand what I'm gonna say. There's a um when I talk about The Rock, he's the first black dude racial that biracial, etc. that got put in the Hulk Hogan territory. That never happened before. So it's kind of like a Patrick Mahomes thing. It's different. So I don't know who you are, and you're talking a whole lot, and we're just kind of having a coherent conversation. So I don't know. You never really did properly introduce yourself. And like I told you before, you know, well, he did because you know, he again, he was in uncharted territories, and they wanted him like that too. They wanted him like that. I respect Hogan's success, but you know Hogan was a low key racist. You already know. I know about Hogan, old Italian boy who said some pretty suspect things. Not that far off from a Mel Gibson type. Not that far off, you know. So, but again, crossed over. When you talking TV wrestling to, uh, you know, it's hard to, you know, put that into words. And you know what, Flair heard some stuff was said, but Flair got such a strong black base that people pretty much will overlook a lot of what he said if it was true. Believe me. Believe me. So they will. Fleur was crazy love. Crazy love. I mean, I loved him as a kid, so. But anyway. I like the dog. I grew up on him. I remember when he had an alter ego called Stagger Lee. See, he used to have this thing called Mid-South Wrestling. Tid Botch, and I remember that's back where Andre Giant, all them guys, Scandal Akbar were, Paul Bosch, and Gino Hernandez, Gorgeous Gino, and Ted DiBiase. See, I go back. Because the wrestling I watched goes back. And I remember when those guys were kids. So, different era. I'm not answering anything from the Real Robbie's question. I just want to stick to a Ted because we're talking cold syncopation. So I'll do respect. So unless you have a question, I'm not jumping into all that. We're talking sports, but it's the way that you've approached this thing. You came out talking about something that was not particularly, it's like you introduce yourself, you got a question, we go into the flow. That's all. But I'm not talking rest, I'm talking about different things. That's what I'm saying. So, but Texas wrestling. No, but when I said this was back in Mid-South. This was a different era. This was back when the Rock and Roll Express. This predates you. This was Jim Cornette. Have you ever heard of Jim Cornette? That was back. That's where Hacksaw Butch Reed, Jim Duggan. This goes back. This was before the merger. This was just kind of like everybody had their own region. So, different era. Different era. So, different era. He's still alive? Wow. That dude was something else. That dude was a trip. So the Midnight Express, and he's coming with them tennis rackets. Oh, that dude was a trip. Wow. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Remember Tony Schiavone? He was when it was on TBS. See, and then again, things changed when I moved because they wrestling, all those guys got relocated. Yeah, I will answer that. Yes, I did. Was how he died was sad, but I wasn't the biggest fan of his. And I'll just leave it at that. But he died young, and how he died was sad. Just gonna leave it at that. Yeah. I think he went too far with Jada Pinkett Smith. I think that, these entertainers, when you talk, you're when you're dropping the tea and talking about people, you can't act, you acting like you're saying something new, but you've been privy to some personal information. So he definitely instigated stuff. He instigated it. I had no problem with Will getting at him because I thought he was out of line. I mean, we were having a pandemic where people were like secluded kind of in this audience, and you say something like that, and you think well, it all depends on the person. But see, if someone said that to your wife or something, you may think differently. Depends on what you're dealing with. Especially when someone's been trying to hit on your wife for like 25, 30 years, okay? See? So, again, this ain't just something random. Chris Rock been trying to highlight her since the 90s. You sit up here 25 years later, Okay, I'll do this again because I know we've done it before. So, told you before, say it again. Bill Walsh, Don Shula, Tom Landry. Put Andy Reid in that mix. Belichick in that mix, though not as high as those guys. Uh, like Tony Dungy a lot, Marv Levy. No, I don't do it no more because I don't eat the cereals I used to eat. Most of my cereals more healthy related. Stacked team or not, they didn't win. And what was stacked about the team that beat Cincinnati in the first Super Bowl? They beat Cincinnati and Forrest Gregg. Ken Anderson was considered a better quarterback than Joe Montana at the time. Cincinnati seemed to be a better team as much as what the 49ers had. So how's that stacked? At the time when they drafted Ronnie Lott wasn't Ronnie Lott. He became a Ronnie Lott. They got great. But remember they had to go get Fred Dean from the Chargers. Okay? So not quite stacked. But the stack that you may want to refer to is when they beat the Broncos in the Super Bowl. Well, actually, after they beat the Bengals the second time, that was becoming stacked. And the team that beat the Broncos, that was stacked. But it wasn't stacked the first two trips. Not like that. And Roger Craig, who was a beast, wasn't seen like that. Freddie Solomon wasn't seen like that. So, yeah, I respect Kobe. He did. He was a good quarterback. He was in there good to really good. Good to really good. You know. I don't really talk about McNabb too much because you know how his career turned out. And, Andy Reid ain't gonna have much to say about it now either. So, you know. He was good for his time. Could have been better. They're football players and not basketball. So, thank you. But he did turn me off though, McNabb, especially the whole thing with T.O. That I had a problem with. He should have fought hard to be with the. Hmm. I liked him when he was in college, RG3. Um, I'm not answering nothing stupid like that. You're on the wrong spot. That's why I'm going to close this up in just a little bit because I don't appreciate those questions. That's not something we talk about here. So I don't know who you think you're talking to with Robbie Sauce, but I don't do that. College quarterbacks all time. Got that out of here. Thank you. Thank you, Ted. I'm just figuring that I haven't had anybody come along and be that disrespectful. So thank you. I don't know who that was. Seems to be the case. Okay, got that turkey out of here. Can't deal with that. Messing up this thing. Sorry about that. I can't even think straight. I don't know where that came from. Houston, NC State back in '80 or the when Jelton Valvano was coaching. That's one of my favorite. North Carolina, Georgetown. Um, obviously Michigan State, Indiana State. Oh well, favorite NBA games. I'd probably say when Miami against the Spurs because that Real hitting that three is probably my favorite regular season. Magic hitting a hook shot against the Celtics in the Garden was incredible. Game winner. DJ Labor with the steal, DJ with the shot against the Pistons was a great one. It's kind of hard to say because it's different things what you like. That Max Strauss buzzer beater was sick, So regular season games, those are game winning shots are always intriguing. I think when D Wade hit that one against Golden State, I like that a lot. Thank you for letting me know about that because I got that turkey out of here. Can't have that on here. I don't play that. So I apologize to everybody that's here. And I let it be known that can't tolerate that. Yeah, I know you got to say it because he hit that shot over D Wade. I know. I remember that. That's that year D Wade should have been MVP too. Yeah, I remember that shot. I remember. I think Derek Fisher's game winner against the Spurs, though, if you want me to be on putting Robert Horry against Sacramento, where am I forgetting? Those are the two best Lakers shots I've seen, if you want my honest opinion. Horry against Sacramento was theatrical. Shaq missed that layup. Kobe missed that shot. The ball taps back out. Bam. Horry, cool. Will Smith looking self. Knocked it. Go home. Derek Fisher against the Spurs after Duncan hit that shot. I'm not going to argue with you. Even though Fisher was a better offensive player, but I'm not going to argue with you. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. But I remember when Shaq said one lucky shot deserves another, so yeah. So yeah. He wasn't. He was a bum. Stop. He was a bum. I mean, he was good but hurt. He was a bum and had hurt feelings. He got caught out on being underachieving. Kobe called him out. Phil called him out. Talk about I'm zenning, shooting up that lazy 3-pointer. I have a buddy of mine, big Kobe fan, big Laker fan. He hated Andrew Bynum. When he tried to shoot that air ball three. No, he could have been very good. Could have been. No, he was a bum. He had potential to be good. He settled for mediocrity. He got too much money, and he just didn't, he was a bum. Dude underachieved. You a bum if you're cursing out Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is trying to teach you a shot. You a bum. If Kareem is trying to teach a young cat, a young blood, anything, and you arguing with a guy who's in the argument for the top 2 or 3 greatest ever, and you up there got words for him, you a bum. You dumb too. You a dumb bum. You don't argue with Kareem. Yeah, that's not the one. Bynum blew it, yo. I remember. See, I don't have select the Laker vision. The guy was a bum. He underachieved. I still remember when he shot that 3-ball air ball. You know, he had a chance to be something, and he underachieved. And that's why they traded his button. He went to Philly, went to Monte Carlo, had that crazy afro, came back, just lost his mind. He had a chance to be a really good to very good player. So I can't, I won't where he's concerned. That was part of it, but his attitude was never as the second guy or first option. He was best as the third option. I tell everybody who saw it, they tried the Jordan Pippen thing. Kobe's talent was geared towards the big in the paint, not on the perimeter. That's where him and Jordan were different. Jordan could work with anybody. Odin had the skill set to be one of the 5 positions, but he didn't utilize his skills. And of course, he messed with her, and that's another story. But he didn't utilize all his skills. So he's a woulda, coulda, shoulda. Talented dude, just underachieved, and had mental issues going on with it. So you know, should have been better. Should have been bigger. Should have been bigger. Yeah, they're doing good too. Kevin Love is looking good. But Butler's playing good. I mean, they look like Paul Pierce, who never gives us no love, said he's the only team he's scared of. Rightfully so. We can beat Boston's behind. Nobody wants to play the Heat. They say it, but they don't. Mm-mm. We are more than battle tested. Guess because the ring and going to the finals quite a few times. But if I go after he left Minnesota, I would tell you no. Depends on what your criteria is. He would have been stayed in Minnesota with the guy he was then. Yes, the guy he became in Cleveland, Miami. No. Depends on what your criteria is. I don't look at him as a Hall of Famer though. I look at him in the pretty good tier. If I weigh all the options of his career, I'd say pretty good. But when he got to Cleveland, he was but he didn't just change. He went to probably their 4th option. It was LeBron, Kyrie, and sometimes J.R. Smith. He fell out. He fell out of the pecking order pretty rapidly. That's what I'm saying. I'll give you with Minnesota, but he never recovered. Even after LeBron left Cleveland, he never was. He got older, got injured. So, because if that dude ever came back that was in Minnesota, if they even got the half of that dude, but I never saw the half of him again. So. So. Yeah, he plays hard. And he's showing you contrition, and he's humble. I like what he's doing too. Passing game is sick. Got some of the best passes I've seen since Wes Unseld. He can go from one end to the other. Still got his shot. He's just older now, that's all. And he has to rely more on his mental. That's all. That's what you saw against the finals against Denver. He just was not, you know. Wes Unseld. I like Jokic, Arvydas Sabonis, Shaq, Wilt Chamberlain, Bill Russell, David Robinson, Karl Malone, Tim Duncan, Elijah One. I'm trying to think of Kareem. Kareem could pass too. Underrated passer. Yeah. That's tough because, to be honest with you, I got to think on that one. Probably Jerry West. I wasn't really that Jordan, he had stats and stuff. I wasn't that blown away with him as a passing shooting guard. I wasn't that blown away with Kobe as a passing shooting guard. Dwayne Wade kind of comes up. I wasn't blown away with him as a shooting guard with it. Probably West. Wasn't blown away with Clyde Drexler's passing as a shooting guard. Definitely not Reggie Miller before you even ask, so nope. I think Ray Allen may be a little bit underrated in the department if you ask me. A little bit, not a lot. It is because if you really think about it, that's hard pressed. I know somebody gonna come up with Jordan with the triple double. He passed, but he wasn't a better passer to me than Scottie Pippen. Pippen moved me more with his passing. Jordan moved me more with playing without the rock. He could really utilize that triangle because he was like able to go back. He passed, but he didn't really make a where you felt like, oh wow, you know, he wasn't dropping dimes. Joe Dumars might get some love in that department. That might give Joe some love. You know, that's a good question because I have to really think about that one. I have to get back to you tomorrow on that one. Not the easy answer. Not an easy answer. I remember when Kobe went through his triple double phase and he said, maybe I'm Kobe Johnson. That didn't last long. And Dwayne Wade could do it, but I wasn't blown away. So none of them, Jerry West probably come to mind. Probably comes to mind. I'll have to come back on that one. It's going to probably be cats that, you usually don't get brought up. Those are the ones that would move me more. So, okay. So I'm going to be on for 5 more minutes because that'll be my hour and a half part. So I'm going to do 5 more minutes. So we got a speed round. Got anything you want to ask? I got to come back on the shooting guard thing. I can't even say Mitch Richmond. I got to think about that. That's a really good question. Because you got to remember something. I spent a long time seeing shooting guards pretty much shoot. They weren't exactly passing the rock. Wasn't a lot of triple doubles. It was out the guard position. So anyway. So yeah, I gotta come back tomorrow on that one. Tomorrow I'll have answers for you on that one. By the way, when you see my video, I got a football debate. You'll see it. You'll let me know what you think of when it comes up on the video. I'm not gonna say nothing about it, but it's a pick 'em. Pretty good, I think, because it didn't dawn on me until I was on one of them football forums on Facebook, and I thought that's an interesting debate between those two. You'll see. You'll let me know what you think with the video. I did more. I didn't do as many. I think I did one sports related regular video today. It's more other things. Tomorrow I'll go back to it. So if I was gonna say favorite shooting guards, it probably either had to be some from way back or somebody kind of like second, third tiers. Wouldn't be the cats that you would assume. They didn't really blow me away. So that's before people come at me about, yeah, Jordan had that 89 season, which I remember. But I always thought Scotty was better with the rock as far as that go. He set everybody up. So Jordan to me though, his greatness was playing without the ball. It's like, you know, and ironically, Dumars and Isaiah did that. Steph and Clay did that. So those are probably like my favorite three sets of doing that. Cats that could play with and out the rock. What Golden State does is uncanny. What's happening? What's happening? How you doing? How you doing? If you got any questions, doing all right. You have any questions? Feel free to ask. Doing all right tonight. It's just staying warm. It's still kind of chilly, still kind of cold, but how you doing? Where you are? What's happening with you? Glad you came through. And if you have any questions, okay, hungry, okay. Right on. Glad to have you through. I always welcome people from all over the world. Glad to have you stop through. I appreciate it. Appreciate the support. Um, Any of you get a chance, the Mr. Max is also on Patreon if you ever want to check that out. If I get anybody over there who acknowledges me over there, I will do more videos over there. So I'll be over there too. But anyway, I just thought I'd throw that out there. I haven't really touched up on it. Yeah, well, that's how life technology is. Technology is a very powerful source. Connects you. And it's always glad to be connected with people all over the world. You know, I would have, I like what you said. I probably would have felt like that probably about 25, 30 years ago, but because I've had more interactions with folks, I'm more common with it, but I still am impressed. I still feel good to meet people from all over the world. It is a gift and it's an honor because I appreciate you taking the time to come through. You could be anywhere else and I appreciate that you stopped through. But yeah, it's amazing. Technology is a powerful source. But I'm glad that well, thank you. I welcome that. And like I said, I appreciate you immensely. You know, like I said, I'm on Patreon, I'm on Threads, Instagram. I'm bound to pop up, but well, I don't think that the only thing I would tell you, you have to live life. This is a different time. See, if you're coming up now in your 20s and you're in the social era, I didn't grow up like that. My life, I had a different era in the 20s. I just AOL came out when I was in my mid 20s, but it didn't that that whole multimedia thing didn't happen till like 10 years after. I was in my early 30s. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Best to you. I was in my early 30s when YouTube came out. Well, this very channel came out in what, 2005? It was a new thing. So I was past that slide, you know. So, but I would say just you have to live life, ups and downs, peaks and valleys. You're going to have good days, bad days, you know. And also, um, you have to be willing to spiritually be in tune to something. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. You see, I grew up. I talk about this story 40 years ago. I grew up when Thriller was like the cell phone. But I had to have the album, and you were driven by the record store. You're driven by the movies. You're driven by. You had a life. Went to arcade, played basketball, pickup game, walked out, did the normal, regular stuff. And still, today everything is dictated by your phone, by your computer, who you meet, how you meet, hashtag everything. Government wants it that way. It has its power and its uses, but then it also has its lack. So you have to decide for yourself what you're going to do when you're not. If I go for a walk, I take my phone because I want to capture some pictures and some backdrops. However, it don't dictate me. But I grew up like that. So it's a matter of your, balancing out your life. Yeah, they don't talk no more. I'm amazed when I see people dating or conversing like that because, like, how do y'all meet? Because it's not like it was, Everything is all differently now. So it's generated. And it's going to AI too, so. But I'm glad that people come through and have conversations and can talk and, you still living life. Yeah, well, yeah. Growing up as a kid, there was this thing called satellite dish, satellite. So they used to plug up from country to country. And it's been around. It's just that when AOL came out in 95 and everything, then that's where we are. So that's how life is these days. It's a beautiful thing and it's a dangerous thing. You know, technology is a beautiful thing, but it's a dangerous thing if you become uh, overran by it and you're seduced by it. So, and then it makes you antisocial. Then if you have another virus, another outbreak, which affected a lot of lives, and then it kind of leads its life to where people are kind of isolated. So, but you still come back to common sense in your faith. So that's how I would describe it. Yeah, unfortunately. What about him? I watch Fox News. I'm very familiar with that turkey. Don't have anything good to say about him, but he's a comedian to me. This is different because I've never been asked about Tucker Carlson on my live stream, so this is good. He says a lot of outlandish things, and I know he's supposed to be interviewing Putin or something, so he's always seeking attention. So, what's your question about Tucker? Yeah, I heard about it. And see, he gets to do stuff like that. No one calls him out on it, because he's desperate for attention. But I don't, uh, I don't pay Tucker no mind. I don't pay him any mind. He's trying to appeal to uh, the demographics, and you know, I know what he's up to. Yeah, well, yeah, because you've been shut out of a lot of views. That's all he ever does. Is shock TV. Runs to a guy who's associated with Trump to trying to appeal. I get it. Very dangerous mind games they play. Very dangerous. I'm not a fan of it. And I watch no Fox News and all of what they do. Scare people. So, yeah. They've been doing it. They've always done it. Part of the far right, part of the far left agenda. If you're watching in my videos, I talk about both sides. And I will tell you as a black man with making no apologies, it's about reparations. I don't care about the this side or that side. They both corrupt. Had enough of it. Yeah, that's you know, there is no leadership. They bought and paid for. And you know what Putin's about, so I mean I know. That's why Trump aligns himself with him. You know. People thinking that, oh, they're gonna do this and that. They're not doing nothing. If you ever watch TV wrestling, that's just what it's like. Bunch of acting, talk loud. James Brown said it, talking loud and saying nothing. If you never heard that song, look it up. James Brown talking loud and saying nothing, because that's what they do. And they ain't saying nothing. Just trying to scare people. We have an effect if we talk it out amongst the people that come behind us. It'd be our family, our friends, our relatives. If we take a stand, but you have to be willing to take a stand. Sometimes you got to go it alone. Sometimes you got to rebel against what they tell you. Better to be respected than to be neglected. That's what I would tell you. Be respected. Don't be neglected. You know, go along, get along. You see what they're doing. Better that you come up and speak out. So take every chance you get to let it know how you feel. Because you have a vision. And you know right from wrong. So, and none of this is right. Anyway, I'm gonna get ready to roll. Appreciate you coming through, BK and Belize. Thank you. If you happen to be by tomorrow, I'll be back on around the same a little bit earlier though. And if you subscribe, I welcome that. Comments. Appreciate you coming through. Aside from the unfortunate situation that happened earlier, which we had to delete that off, I welcome people coming through, comments from all over the world. Feel free to talk. Anything you want to talk about, we can go over. Yes, I welcome you to come again. Appreciate you because I like where you're going. This is great feedback. This is the kind of stuff I like. Different perspective from different parts of the world, how you see the world, how you interact. I welcome that. So feel free and bring your friends, people. You know, we can definitely do this, and appreciate you. Thank you so much. Stay safe, stay warm, stay careful. Be blessed. We'll do it again. Thank you again. Appreciate you. And peace. I'm out.